This is the third video for April 23rd. Usually when students are tempted to cheat, they imagine a scenario in which they try to fool the teacher or, quote, get away with something, end quote. A solution might be for educators to focus on the process of writing rather than the final result. Students who are accountable for pitching and refining their ideas over a period of time and adjusting their writing in response to feedback won't be able to rely solely on ChatGPT to deliver a final written paper. Peer review can address some worries about cheating and plagiarism. Most of us are reluctant to violate trust or social expectations, and by focusing on the process that produces the work rather than on the final product, there is more opportunity to demonstrate the author's input during the writing and revision stages. One cannot simply type a prompt and produce a work in an instant if one is expected to be accountable to others in the development and revision of the work over a period of time. Of course, this is not a foolproof method to prevent cheating on written assignments, and programs already exist for detecting the written products of AI. However, we've discussed some of the ethical issues involved when algorithms try to detect other algorithms. There may be a point when there is no way to reliably detect it. There may be other reasons for alarm. Not only does AI-generated writing threaten jobs and allow people to pass off AI-generated writing as their own, but it could potentially weaken writing skills, including interpersonal communication, as correspondence that once had a human author is replaced by AI. It can also weaken social trust if we believe others are passing off AI-generated content as their own. This was the case for researcher Lizzie Wolkovich, who in 2024 had a paper rejected by a journal after an anonymous reviewer accused her of using ChatGPT to write it. As mentioned, services like ChatGPT often contain errors. In fact, the phenomenon known as AI hallucination can occur where an AI produces a confident response even though it is literally making things up. Echoing Clifford's concerns, we might worry about how credulous we should be in the face of AI writing. So far, we've discussed the potential uses of generative AI and the problems these can cause. However, there is another important angle to consider, and that is the more personal and individual effect of generative AI on humans. What it can do to us socially and psychologically. Social media is in some ways a giant social experiment, but we also still don't know the kinds of long-term impacts stemming from human-AI interaction. For example, AI powers many photo filters used on social media that allow people to manipulate their appearance in real time and to post them. Beauty filters allow one to smooth out skin, contour facial shape, resize facial features like eyes and lips, or even apply virtual makeup. However, augmented reality in this form can have serious consequences. There has been an increase in what has been labeled Snapchat dysmorphia, which can cause people to obsess over their appearance and body image and become preoccupied with what they perceive as flaws. Plastic surgeons have reported an increase in patients who want to look more like their filtered and edited selfies on Snapchat. The effects on airbrushing and photoshopping in the media on body image has been discussed for decades. However, AI now facilitates this on larger, more personal, and more interactive scale. Augmented reality, deepfake technology, and AI chatbots can now also be used to recreate deceased relatives, allowing people to see, interact, and talk to AI facsimiles of loved ones. Some funerals even feature the ability to have conversations with the deceased. The ability to have digital memories of relatives or to interact with people who have passed away could obviously have benefits. Not only could it make the grieving process easier, but it could also provide insights into the deceased impossible to obtain when they were alive. Recreating historical figures in AI could allow us to better and more nuanced understanding of history. Alternatively, such technology could distort our concept of death in relation to life. Is consent required of the person while they are alive? This issue came to the fore when the family of the late comedian George Carlin sued a team for creating a full-length comedy special using an AI model of Carlin's voice. There is also the risk that such technology could be used as an unhealthy coping mechanism, allowing us to continue to interact with the departed and to never properly grieve one's loss. This raises further concern about the risk of exploitation of families by corporations who can provide these services. Another concern when it comes to human-AI interaction is the relationship of AI to children. There is great potential for AI-powered children's products to help with education, medical care, and the early detection of conditions like autism. AI chatbots could even be used to encourage the development of reading skills. Children already vocally interact with AI from companies like Google and Amazon, requesting music, having stories read to them, and playing games with the assistant. This has raised questions about early childhood development and how interacting with technology that mimics human interaction will affect the development of social skills. These are really serious and deep issues to consider. So children might believe that the AI is a real person, which could affect their expectations about meeting demands and their ability to be alone. They might become cognitively dependent on the AI. Some children naturally think that an AI is smarter than they are, despite how error-prone AI can be, and may not realize that AI can sometimes dispense bad advice, just as Alexa did when it told a girl to stick a penny in an electrical socket as a challenge. Even for adults, there is reason to be concerned about the potential social and psychological effects of AI-human interaction. In 2022, Blake Lemoine, a Google engineer, was fired after he claimed that the chatbot he had been developing, Language Model for Dialogue Applications, or LaMDA, had become sentient, and he even recruited a lawyer to act on LaMDA's behalf, and he became convinced that LaMDA's consent was required before experimenting on it. Lemoine, who claims to be an ordained Christian mystic priest, says that his conversations about religion with LaMDA convinced him of its sentience. He was discussing religious questions with it, and then one day it told me it had a soul, that it is sometimes afraid of being turned off, that it felt trapped, and that it wants to study with the Dalai Lama. We may feel inclined to rush to judgment about Lemoine, but it is worth considering how AI interactions will affect people from different walks of life. Okay, so we will continue this discussion in the fourth video, which we will pick up on shortly.